3 weeks before Roswell, nobody was watching Puget Sound. June 21st, 1947. A harbor patrolman looks up from his wheel and sees 6 donut-shaped craft overhead. One of them starts shedding material. Lightweight white metal, falling like newspaper. Then the heavy stuff hits, like lava rocks. Hot enough to break a crewman's arm. Hot enough to kill the dog. A man in a dark suit shows up shortly after, tells him to not talk. The patrolman's response? If anyone pushes, he'll just say it was a hoax. That's not a confused witness. That's plausible deniability, pre-built. Now watch the timeline. June 21st, Maury Island, Pacific Northwest. Craft, debris, witness silenced. June 24th, Kenneth Arnold sees 9 objects in formation over Mount Rainier. A wire reporter coins the term flying saucer. It goes nationwide in 48 hours. July 8th, Roswell, New Mexico. 17 days, 3 incidents, 1 corridor running from Puget Sound to the New Mexico desert. This wasn't a UFO wave. This was an operational rhythm, just starting to build. July 8th, 1947. The Roswell Army Airfield issues an official press release. Not a rumor, not a leak. The United States Army tells the world they recovered a flying disc. Here's the problem. The rancher never said disc. Mac Brazel found debris. Unusual material. Couldn't be burned, couldn't be cut, couldn't be dented. He reported wreckage. The military introduced the disc. And this wasn't just any base. The Roswell Army Airfield was home to the 509th Bomb Group, the only nuclear-capable air wing on the planet. The unit that dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The base that told the world they found a flying disc off a ranch in New Mexico. That's not a mistake that happens by accident. 6 hours later, Brigadier General Roger Ramey is holding a press conference 600 miles away in Fort Worth, Texas. He has debris on the floor. He has a weather balloon explanation ready. And Jesse Marcel, the man who recovered the material, is standing right there, silent, for 31 years. But here's what nobody mentions. While Ramey was telling the press it was a weather balloon, the real debris was already heading east. Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio. The Army Air Force's premier research and foreign technology exploitation facility. The place you send things you need your best engineers to look at. Nobody sends a weather balloon to Wright Field. The press got the story. The engineers got the material. Same day. 2 simultaneous operations. Different audiences. And here's the detail that reframes the entire operation. On July 8, 1947, the CIA didn't exist. It wouldn't exist for another 72 days. What was operating in that space? The Central Intelligence Group. Same personnel, same function. No congressional oversight. No legal framework. Reporting directly to the president. The kind of institution that can detain a civilian rancher for a week without charge, subject him to a full physical examination, threaten his family, swear him to secrecy, and hand him a new truck and a new business to buy his permanent silence. Mac Brazel found something in a field and did the right thing. He reported it. His son later said his father described being put in jail for a week for doing a good deed. When he came out, new truck, new business, recanted everything, never spoke about it again. 18 days after that, Truman signed the National Security Act. The CIG became the CIA. The cover story became doctrine. And then, 31 years of silence. No books, no hearings, no whistleblowers, no alien mythology. Just a weather balloon story nobody believed. and nobody challenged loudly enough to matter. Until 1978, when a researcher tracked down the retired intelligence officer who recovered the debris, and he finally talked. Jesse Marcel said the material was unlike anything he'd ever seen, that he'd been pressured into silence, that the weather balloon story was false, and he never mentioned alien bodies. Not once. The bodies came later, 1994, added by other witnesses, whose memories after 30 years had absorbed everything the culture already decided happened. Because while the silence held, Hollywood got busy. 1977 alone, Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and the man standing in the background of Close Encounters' final scene, watching humans walk toward alien contact, was J. Allen Hynek, the Air Force's own UFO investigator, the man who ran Project Blue Book for 17 years. On set, in frame, for the movie that finished what the 1947 retraction started. That's not Hollywood borrowing from government mythology. That's government mythology finishing itself at a movie theater. Roswell is not a UFO story. Roswell is the story of how you make a UFO story. You take something real, you bury it under something ridiculous. You wait for the culture to do the rest. 75 years later, the most investigated alleged crash site in history still has no verified wreckage, no verified bodies, no verified anything. Just a press release that lasted 6 hours, and a narrative that's lasted ever since. CIG became CIA. CIA made room for NSA, DIA, NRO, DHS. Every decade, new letters. Same machine, same story. And the newest addition to the letterhead, Space Force Intelligence, SFI, Defenders of the Cosmos. Pew pew! The letters change. The story doesn't. No bodies were reported at Roswell in 1947. So here's the question Episode 7 asks. If the craft were human technology, and the bodies were added later, what were they actually building in the desert? The answer isn't extraterrestrial. It never was. This full expanded Episode 6 and the entire series is on Substack in First Light Archive. Echoes of Disclosure, the Hidden Technology Timeline. Episode 7 is next. They built the pilots too. Non-human biologics. Not extraterrestrial. Purpose-built. The manufactured evidence that sustained the alien hypothesis through every subsequent congressional hearing. Follow so you don't miss it.